Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for week 4 of Survivor 43. My name is Mike Bloom, here to collude with two other people, hopefully for your enjoyment, the exact opposite of what Coco received in the latter half of this episode, as we talk about what has been, in my opinion, the best episode of the season so far. Lots of drama, and hopefully our podcast coverage will be as comforting to you as a nice palm frond blanket. Of course, let me welcome in our two guests here. First off, somebody who's always willing to walk into a podcast, willing to offer something at first that they know is going to get completely warped into something else by the end of it, much like a Cody negotiation. It's the great Liana Boraas. Liana, how are you?
What?
Cody came in and he's like, I throw out the first thing, and I really don't mean that thing. So then by the time I got him where I want him.
Negotiation. Sure. Yeah, no, I'm not here to negotiate. I am here though to follow up on a little bit of old business from last week before we talk about new business this week. We discussed shirts that go hard. Mm-hmm. So I bought a shirt that goes hard. It says,
"Oh my God, that is a graphic nightmare." I'm so confused by it.
I don't even. So, the saying is gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, but like the order in which you have to read it, because it's like you girl boss first. I don't know. Anyway,
also, why is it a keyhole?
I don't know. And it's like there's like a star here. I don't know. Like gives you some like Illuminati-ness.
Yeah, there's also 3 different fonts and colors going on with each one of the words. I mean, we could do an entire separate podcast about that. Also, there's a non-zero chance that eventually Survivor does have a season called Girl Boss versus Gaslight versus Gatekeep.
Yeah. Well, I was looking through because I was laughing at them all, and I saw this one. I was like, okay, I have to buy it. But then I got confused. It's giant because I got the sizing wrong. But whatever, I don't care. I'm here to gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss.
So gaslighting, I think, is a good negotiation technique, right?
There we go.
You didn't say you'd give me the machete. You said you'd give me the fishing gear.
Yeah, see?
Well, look, we, got some word from on high from our grand poobah, Rob Cesarino, and he said, you can always trade in a B&B guest for someone you've had on previously. And I thought, let's invoke that. Let me go back to the well to somebody who we haven't had on since the finale of Survivor Winners at War, quite literally an old era of Survivor, making her first appearance in the new era of the B&B. So excited to welcome back one of the stars, the literal Kalo of a David versus Goliath, the great Gabby Pascuzzi. Gabby, how are you?
Oh my God! There's so much to react to. How hard it was to not be introduced before Liana's shirt. I had so much. Oh my gosh, there's just so much going on. Thank you for having me back. I don't remember being here for season 40 because that was all a fever dream. Mm-hmm. I genuinely thought the last time we talked was maybe like the season after my own, like season 38. So I was like telling you guys before we got on that I'm so excited to be back. So thank you for having me. Don't remember anything that's happened in the past 2 years, apparently, but I'm here.
The one thing I remember is that there was that one shot in the virtual finale they did where it had the entire cast on screen. I remember us playing Guess Who with that. That's the thing I remember.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Oh, I'm so glad you said Guess Who. I totally remember that game. When we played it, like as well as childhood favorite.
Like just in general, yeah.
Okay, good.
I think this is fantastic. I think also because since technically it was Winners at War, that is the old era. So now you get to get all of your opinions kind of on this new era, both the season at hand, 43, but also, what you've seen in the past 2 seasons as well with the advantages and, the way they've changed things up. Very curious to hear all of your thoughts.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I have so many thoughts. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Survivor being back. I love can you guys I'm so sorry. This is the most chaotic beginning to a podcast. Can you hear something? My phone just started playing, I think, TikTok it's on a different table. And I have to go. Yeah, I have to go turn that off.
Go take care of your ghost TikTok. Oh my God. I heard squeaking.
It was almost as if I'm back, but it was almost as if it was like you're not watching TikTok right now? Like,
I
I'm
mean,
going to
that's
start
like
TikTok
the
for you.
singularities, starting to take over now of like,
That
why are
was
you podcasting? Why should you not be watching
Mhm.
TikTok right now?
That was absolutely
Consume.
wild. I was watching it like before we came on, but why would it just start from the other room all on its own? So anyway, I'm so sorry to all the listeners in case this is not edited out. I am very sorry.
No, we're not
No,
gonna
no,
edit it
no,
out.
no. This
Sorry.
is the
No, no,
B&B.
no.
Like,
This
we're
is
all
the
for
beginning of the
chaos where
chaos of
everyone
this.
stops and
Of
answers
this
their
episode.
ghostly messages
Oh
over
my
the course of
God.
it.
I'm just glad that I had witnesses for that. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
So
listen, it is spooky season. So I think like the
Mhm.
paranormal happening over the course of a podcast is not only understandable, I think it's predictable.
yes, thank you. Thank you for bringing it all back. So anyway, I mean, I am a fan of the new era. I think I listen to all the podcasts still because I'm a dweeb, but I think like I share a lot of the same kind of comments that have been said about the twists and the this and the that. But like overall, I am just happy that Survivor is still living and
Mhm.
thriving
Living.
and like doing something with the post pandemic kind of resurgent. Oh my god, I did not just say post pandemic, I meant post quarantine, like when people were
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
we're still in a pandemic, but when people were really binging Survivor, I feel like Survivor leveraged that, and like yes, they're trying new crazy wacky things, but like I don't know, I'm excited for it.
Mhm. I think that's the correct opinion. I don't know if
Thank
that's like the way to
you.
say, but I mean, just like, yeah, I mean, whatever. We're going with the flow. Obviously, there's going to be quibbles here and there, and that's literally we wouldn't have a podcast if we didn't have all those things to talk about. But I think in general, we're all Survivor fans, and we just want to see the show continue to exist and continue to bring at least decent television.
Yeah. And I think it's better than decent. I think like we, the super fans, are the only ones that are like, oh, this advantage. Like, no, it's a good TV show. I think if you started watching Survivor during this new era, you would be like, this is a good piece of entertainment. We
Mhm.
just happen to have like 20 years of background and history of like the way things used to be. But like, I
Mm.
do think
Mhm.
the output of the show is like good. And I love
Yeah.
the way that they're telling stories kind of since 41. And like I feel like there's more good changes than bad changes, honestly. Like it doesn't mean that I think this new era is like better or worse, but like the change that it has become is like fine, like it's good. I don't know, I think we're being really picky, and honestly like I think it's fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that being said, I know certainly like the discussion over the past few weeks was like, some people aren't, I wouldn't say like not necessarily vibing with this season. I think certainly feeling, as the ghost TikTokers would say, feeling mid about it, right? That like there's some people that are standing out, but it's fine. Gabby, are you feeling the same way? Like specifically about season 43, maybe even in comparison to 41 and 42. What are you feeling about it now that we're about a third of the way through?
No, I think it's really fun. I feel like there are really good characters. I don't know, do we all just like get short-term memory loss or something in between seasons? Like, no, I do it too because I'm always like, oh, this wasn't it. But I'm like, but why? Like, what
Mm.
could I name anything specific? I don't know. Like, we have really notable, funny characters. We've had funny moments. We've had heartfelt we've had like what we the fans have been asking for, like getting to know the people and seeing strategy. I feel like we've seen a fair amount of strategy, seeing camp life, like we're getting a lot. I think the casting has been amazing. I don't mean am I being like toxically positive right now? Like I swear usually I love complaining.
What is toxically positive? Is that like when you have so much sugar that it tastes a little sour in the back of your throat?
Yeah. It's when you're in like denial of reality. Like it's funny because like I poke fun at Survivor on Twitter and stuff like that. Like I think we all we see the ways in which it's changed, but I'm enjoying season 43, and I think I mean barring, we can tell like really being sad about some of the boots and the boot order in particular. But like as I don't know, I'm repeating myself. No, I like it.
That's why I'm here to gaslight gatekeep girl boss. We're
Oh
gonna
my
get help
gosh.
those 5 women that are left. How
Seriously,
many?
we just
Yeah, no, there are 5 women that are left.
Okay, yeah.
It's
It's
horrible.
yeah, you can literally count them on one hand. It's
Oh boy.
Janine, Ellie, Carla,
Carla.
Cassidy, and Noelle. Those are the
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, overall, I've been happy. This episode, in terms of the editing and the storytelling, specifically surrounding the boot, that was kind of like the main storyline that I kept thinking of this week when I thought about this episode, was that this felt like such whiplash. It felt like it came out of nowhere. It felt like there were a lot of little things that didn't necessarily make sense, like Ryan and Gio. We were told, oh, they're BFFs, they're BFFs, they're BFFs, don't even vote together. Like, there were just a lot of things that just, to me, yes, Lindsay, maybe a hint of her paranoia before, if there any of that had existed, right? Being able to have seen that, so then going into this episode where it's like, oh yeah, no, she's really paranoid, and that's her demise. It just felt like Gio's going, not a question. And then this came out of nowhere, which of course people are like, oh, but don't you want to not know what's going to happen? And that's exciting. Yes. At the same time, if you're trying to create a cohesive story, you need to have some idea. Otherwise, you're going to hurt your neck because it's just too confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there was a narrative there. I think where the surprise came from wasn't that there wasn't any substantiation. It's that typical Survivor editing is, okay, this person's definitely going, but what if it's this other person? Like, don't suggest that to me. That's not a substitute. It's always going to be person A. And in this case, this actually was person B. I do see your point, though, about like the general Coco edit, which, listen, I'm happy that it's something more than nothing for many reasons. I'm happy that they go to tribal council here. I think, we'll talk about, again, those collusion moments that I think were really interesting. But, from what Lindsay at least told me, she had basically said, like, from day one, we had determined that Gio was going to be the boot. And I wonder if that had been shown a bit more, because then that would make the swerve even better, right? Of like, okay, this guy's been dead to rights for the past 3 episodes, and then Lindsay's able to almost like bring it on to herself at the very end in order to eke Gio over the line. Because yeah, up to this point, we really had no idea what the dynamics were, and so they had to do a lot of hurry up to try to at least cobble together something that will then end up in then a subsequent surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that completely makes sense. I agree with everything both of you said, but especially like not knowing who was in danger on Blue beforehand. It was like when they said and they randomly said Cassidy for like 5 seconds. They were like Cassidy, and then they were like, wait, Gio, and then I was like, okay, I guess either of those two makes sense. Like, it just kind of what you were saying, Mike, with like where I wasn't sure where the groundwork was, like honestly in either direction, like either for Gio or Lindsay. Like, we saw their alliances, but I think it would have been a more compelling story if we had known that like the plan was to vote out Gio the whole time.
Yeah, or just something more. I mean, because it's like, okay, we know Carla in the center of everything. And then to me, if I had to say, I was like, okay, you got the Women's Alliance and then Carla and James and then the two, like that was the breakdown. So, I mean, maybe that was true. And it did all legitimately change in that episode, in which, okay, then the editors, there's not a whole lot they can do. They're literally telling the story about what's happening. But I don't know, just it felt very like, I don't know what's going on. I don't like that feeling.
That being said,
I like being able to predict my television.
Now, that being said, again, I thought there was a lot of fun stuff to be had. I will say so far, like, this is one of those seasons that doesn't feel incredibly positive, but like there's fun to be had in that, like, everyone kind of low-key hates each other in this season so far. Considering, like, the Baka tribe, again, we keep going Baka to, like, it's usually every storyline, right, is like, Gabler hates Ellie, Ellie hates Gabler, Sammy hates Gabler, Owen hates Gabler, Gabler hates Janine. Like, it really is so acrimonious with them. I guess, like, Vessi has now become the closest thing to the Kumbaya tribe, but even they, have had their divisions. So, like, I'm enjoying that. It's not getting to the level of toxicity, whether positively or negatively, in terms of, like, these people abhor each other and, like, make personal attacks at each other. But we're getting to the point in the game where, yes, it only is about, 10 days in, but I think just due to the depletion at this point, everyone's kind of starting to get under each other's skin, starting to get to the Owen level, perhaps, of being those lovable curmudgeons. And I do think the interpersonal drama is starting to ramp up, both within the tribes and now amongst other tribes as well, that I think will hopefully maybe perk things up from a season that I think was a little slow to start from that dynamic in the first few episodes.
I think what it's like, okay, the fun mess is like Gabler putting palm fronds on top of people. The unfun mess is then like calling each other names. You know what I mean? Like there's sort of that gradient in between. And so while clearly they have a lot of disdain for one another, at least it's only manifesting in Gabler like trying to help but not, and just waking them up in the middle of the night as he gently covers them in like dried palm fronds, which makes no sense. Like, okay, whatever. I think also Cody has obviously been a huge character on the show. I think he's provided, a lot of entertainment. I think I need Yellow to go to tribal again, just because I don't know, what are they going to do? Gabler's got an idol, right? So even though there is all of this disdain, then there's really interesting dynamics. I think Red as well, right? Because they have, Noelle has to steal a vote, but Cody's got an idol. What's going to happen there? I would love for that to have some type of resolution, and maybe we'll get there. But right now it's still kind of just like bubbling under the surface.
Yeah. Wow. I love hearing you two talk because I just love hearing people who I agree with. So I can just be like, yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I agree.
You're right. Like, I think, like you said, Liana, like your opinions are correct. So no notes.
Yes, my Twitter timeline in a nutshell. I want to see people that I agree with.
Yeah, I'm like, refresh, like somebody else's tweet that's the exact same as what I tweeted in different words. Like, love it.
Let me ask the opinion of someone that was actually out there, Gabby, and specifically in, obviously, the Mamanuca Islands in Fiji. Like, did any discussion come across any platter at any point in time during your time in Dave vs. Goliath of, I'm feeling pretty freezing, we can put these palm fronds on us, whether they're covered in ants or not?
Oh my gosh. You know what? As soon as I saw that scene, I texted somebody. I was like, this is something that Pat from my season would do. Of course, like sweet Pat on my season, we only saw like 2 days of, 3 days of, but like, guys, that's how he was. Like, I don't know how they find these kind of like older men that are a little more old school, and they're so earnest, like they want to help, but like, I don't know why he would. I like don't know if I'm just doing this to myself, but like I feel like Pat might have even done that. Honestly, I should just pose a question to, like, I was like, it's such a specific thing. So I don't know how they find these like older men, but they need to keep casting them because they're so funny. I love the Yellow Tribe and how much of a mess they are. Like everything you were saying before, Mike, I was like, yeah, and that's why it's fun, right? Like I like this kind of old school, like they're annoying each other at camp. Like that's camp. That's camp. So
it's serving camp.
Yeah, they are serving camp at camp. But it's not comfortable. I don't think you want a dried palm frond on you at night.
No, and especially when I think was it Ellie who was sleeping and then was like, you woke me up.
Yeah.
Virginia,
like you're making it worse.
Yeah.
I know. And then he's like, well, this one doesn't have ants on it. And it makes me wonder, has this been attempted before? And there were ants?
I'm sure he's going in like, all right. Well, that's what I imagine is that Gabler has had this plan, right? Like Tony had the spy shack. Gabler's like, I'm gonna make the survivor blanket. And so he's been like scouring. He's like, this one's too small. This one's too crusty. This one has ants all over. And then he finally found the perfect one. I think what I love most about it is that, again, like the parent thing, right? Of like, oh, let me go sneak into my son's room and tuck him in while he's sleeping. Gabler like tries that, but in reality, it is throwing a giant leaf on a person while they're in the middle of sleeping. And I just love Sammy's reaction where he's just like, what is on me right now? It literally seemed like a prank that you pull at a slumber party.
Yes,
like,
I thought that's what he
was
doing.
The first person to fall asleep, right? Like you pile all the pillows on top of them and they wake up, they're like, what the hell is this? Like I was waiting for Gabler then to be like, all right, and to just, comfort you while you're at sea, I'm going to put your hand in this coconut shell of warm water so that when you wake up, you'll be fresh as a daisy.
I think my other favorite part of is that it's not like he wove them together, right? Because we saw like Marianne, for example, made a mat for Omer. Theoretically, you could make a blanket out of woven palm fronds, right? Like, just loose
palm frond, just raw palm frond directly on the skin.
Yeah, ridiculous. Well, so Gabby, funny. The other question I have, and I'm so happy that we have a former Survivor player to address this. Trading rewards. You've always been able to trade.
We've always saying
always.
this. I'm always saying that you can trade your reward for a previous reward.
Yes, always. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that we settled that. That's something always you could do always.
Always. No, it's so funny. I think everyone had the same reaction when they saw that. And the only thing I could remember him ever saying to us
Mhm.
was like, I think you can, maybe it's like you can trade it um for a lower one. No, because why would you know what? During the course of this conversation, I actually do recall. I think he does say that.
Wait,
Oh!
really?
I think he has said that before. But the thing is, I only remember him saying it in like the really early days and also in the old like at least on my season when you were getting really like standard things. It was like
Mhm.
the first one is a toolkit and the second one is
Right.
a fishing gear and the third one is this. So it's like, well, if you want the toolkit instead of the fishing gear or whatever, the pill
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I made that up. Like other Survivor players can at
Well,
me.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, you did play on a season end, was sort of like witness to, right? Like one of the most infamous negotiations in recent Survivor memory. And so I would imagine, like, how many seasons AA after Angelina that like maybe this would be a thing. The word always is interesting. I know that
Always, yeah.
Mhm.
people say like, okay, he didn't really mean it like it's always happened. Listen, we're gonna have fun here. We're gonna roll with the meme of like since episode 1, Jeff's like, okay, do you want to trade for the cans of dog food? Like, I love the sort of Price is Right aspect here of,
Yeah.
okay, here's your thing. If you think it's the equivalent, you'll be able to barter for it. Because, yeah, I think it makes sense. In the new era, like, as was pointed out, if you don't have fire, what good
Yeah.
are 10 fish? They're just going to stink up camp. So, like, I love the idea
Yeah.
of being a bit more fluid there and actually trying to negotiate for some actual nourishment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know why the flint wasn't allowed to be a thing. That seemed unnecessarily cruel. You couldn't take the flint,
Oh, you, like,
but
couldn't steal it from the other team.
or you
Yeah, like
couldn't.
in the raid?
Okay. I was
Or you
combining two
mean
things in my head. You couldn't steal it, but also I think they said like, well, we don't get flint in the reward, and it's
Yeah.
like, could
oh,
you
mhm.
trade
Yeah.
in?
Because I'm
Um,
pretty sure
yeah,
the Flint is now like the always sidecar reward in the immunity challenge, right? Like
Mm.
it's always
yeah.
if you lose the immunity challenge, you have to give up your Flint. So I think Jeff's like, you can't trick me here, okay? Like don't Rumpelstiltskin me right now.
No swapsies, but it does seem like you can like swap. Yeah, I mean, I would just love to see kind of the decision matrix, if one will, of like, no, it wouldn't be a matrix, would it? But like a flow chart or something where it would be like, well, can they trade the tribe swap reward as a concept for the like? They're like, we will not do the steal, we will trade anyway. I'll read the fine
Mhm.
print.
Yeah.
But it does feel like there's like a time limit. I'll put that little caveat on the thing that I am apparently gaslighting myself into believing was true.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, is it felt like just arbitrarily and I feel like there's a certain point where you're like, well, you're not doing that anymore. Like it almost seems like it only applies to like tools and fish. Like I
Mm.
don't think that would apply much longer into the game, but I don't think they ever said like, and now it's up. But anyway, as we all know, now you can steal.
You can steal. Yeah, you can trade, you can steal. Yeah, that was the other thing about the raid, like when Cody actually went.
Yeah.
So, okay. So obviously there was like a negotiation, but I thought he could just steal stuff. I didn't think he had to negotiate. I thought he could just walk up and take stuff. Or
I
did
mean,
I
no,
misunderstand?
theoretically he could. I mean, if I'm going back to, my number 1 season Survivor Pearl Islands, like that's what they did. They were able
Right.
to go and take whatever they wanted. It's a matter of do you want to talk about it with them
Mhm.
or do you say like, yeah, I'm taking this? And Cody initially presented himself as coming in with the latter thing, right? And also like threatening structural damage to their shelter loosely.
Yeah.
I loved how like almost menacingly he's like, I like these supports. He just sort of stood underneath it to be like, if you don't give me what I want, I might just buckle this thing and your entire home comes crumbling down.
Oh God. Yeah, okay, I understood the rule to be like because I think they said they could only take one thing. So then I was
Mm.
confused when he was getting more things. But I guess if you are able to
Negotiate.
negotiate with them, then you can take more than one thing. So that's probably why he comes in and says, like, I'm taking the machete. Like, that's my one item that I'm choosing. He says it in a nice way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they can be like, take these 10 things instead. And he's like, yes, very good. So, because I was like, oh, can he only take like one potato?
Yeah,
Like,
one lime. You get
one
one
lime.
lime.
I mean, these limes are apparently, a luxury on the island. So I think he
Yeah.
would have come back with that as well. I also love the joke about them having tequila back there, which would have been wild. Like immediately Cody's like, limes, oh, tequila. You're doing shots back there? Is that how you're
Yes.
winning all these challenges?
Cody is very like funny. Like it comes he's like schmoozy, but like that he's got some good lines, I'm not gonna lie. But no, like that kind of thing, the tequila reminds me of someone like a Tyson or something that's like, oh yeah, we could probably find like foil and lemon and stuff for the fish
Yeah.
on the island. It's like
Yeah.
it's funny. I think like James was playing along with him. Like it was good banter, honestly. He did a good job at being like the messenger.
Yeah, I love also that although there was the discussion with the original, what's our plan? What are we gonna do? He also takes it a little bit into his own hands, which I love the fact that he's willing to do that. I'm a little nervous from him. We did get the confessional, I think, from Carla, who was like, bro, you're from Idaho, okay, Malaho, or like whatever. I don't know, Aloha, whatever he was saying, like. Okay. This act might not fool everybody, but I think definitely it's entertaining, especially from a television perspective.
No, I agree with you for sure. And I'm glad that Carla can kind of be the mouthpiece for the people that are like, what's going on here, buddy?
That's the thing, and that's what we want as well. So Jerry Manthey actually was on Tyson's podcast this past week and brought up, I think, some really salient points about like how she's glad there aren't any capital V villains on the show anymore, and like, yes, the stories can sometimes be a bit saccharine and sappy, but like at least they're not being personified as the Wicked Witch of the West and getting death threats sent to them. Though, I don't know, Gabby, you could speak firsthand about how that still might carry over into modern day Survivor. But I will say, again, like, I like when seasons are not necessarily entirely buddy. So, like, I love Carla bagging on Cody here. In general, I love those bashing confessionals. Again, you mentioned Tyson, like that's Tyson's bread and butter, and fish with foil around it is like him just going after people in confessions. And so I love that Carla does this. I would also argue, in my opinion, the three biggest characters of the show so far are Carla, Cody, and Gabler. And so I love like actually having the two of them interact with each other, because otherwise, right, we'd have to wait till either one of these trips to Island of Mystery with all the sacks on it, or a merge for them to actually interact with each other, because there are no swaps. And so I'm really glad that we got this unique opportunity for cross-tribal interaction, just to have like Carla's first taste of Cody, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. I mean, especially because we haven't seen a ton of Coco, right? I mean, until this episode necessarily. So then to have anything that gives us more of those crazy characters interacting and seeing more of that, and you've got two of the biggest ones. I mean, I think that totally makes sense. Send Gabler, hell, send both of them, all three of them all interacting. That would be truly a thing of joy.
The other thing I want to ask is obviously the very unique decision. Again, it was a big Coco episode. And so I think people the podcast and Bessie are like, yeah, we're going to stop them from winning challenges right now. And so, Gabby, you came from you had your own like sort of unique situation, right? You were in a 3-tribe format for a brief portion of time, but you sort of had the additional stakes, right? Of like looking at the David Goliath balance on the other two tribes. I'm curious, from your own individual perspective, or even from a group perspective, like, was there ever discussion on your end of, oh, I really wish if this tribe won instead of this tribe?
Oh yeah. So that didn't happen on my tribe, the Green Tiva tribe, because we were kind of like winning. But I heard after the fact that the other tribes were thinking about that in terms of us. I guess because they were a lot nicer. Like I think Nick told me that his tribe, like, or he specifically was like trying to not let like my tribe come in last because they thought we would be in danger. So there definitely is that possibility that the other tribes, and I think it's smart to do so, are, you're looking at which of these small tribes might be dangerous come something like a merge. And I think it's even more straightforward probably in this game. Well, maybe not, but that they don't have prior swaps, because really it's like the small tribes that they're in are going to be the small tribe that they're in until the merge. Whereas on mine, like you said, Mike, it's sort of like a mixture of like, well, let's see what the numbers are from our original tribe, but also when the 3 tribes combine, like, are we going to go with the 3 tribes or the original 2 tribes? And you know what? I feel like it tends to be like whichever tribes were first, which is just, I guess, makes sense from like a social standpoint. Like those were the people that you knew originally. Because it did feel like even after our small tribes came together, we were like, okay, but we're like going back to David and Goliath, right?
You're muted, Liana.
Oh no, I don't know what happened. Okay. Yeah, in terms of this season, I think if you're in a three tribe format and you have 2 tribes who are clearly ahead in a challenge, why would you not want to help each other? You're just like, we just got to not come last. I don't know. I'm actually surprised that we don't see that happen more often. Maybe it does. We just don't see it. Or on the flip side, it's like, oh, well, once you start doing that, that can potentially cause problems for you down the road. Okay. But like, you just don't want to be last, don't have to be first. Just don't want to be last.
Yeah, I brought this up on the day the episode aired. Someone did helpfully point out to me that Michaela actually did this briefly in Survivor Millennials versus Gen X, where she helped. I think it was a challenge where like they did the blindfolded table maze, and she helped guide one of the second place challenges. And it's I think if I recall correctly, maybe it was like the episode where Figgy got voted off, or Adam turned, and like Jeff was like, "Oh, there's like more, millennials than Gen X." He's like, well, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I agree that it's, at least again from our perspective, besides that, it's very rare. What's interesting is that it almost seems to me like not a prognosticator, but maybe a sneak peek at like what a merge situation would be. Because we see right in Heroes, Healers, Hustlers, oh, okay, so it's going to be the heroes and the hustlers are going to band together against the healers because there's 6 of them to make it essentially an even playing field. Maybe that would have been the case, and maybe will now further be the case when we get to a merge of like, okay, they thought Coco was too strong. I just think it was really fun gameplay from Vessie's part. And for them, like, they're down, they're out in a manner of speaking, right? Like, it's 4v5, v6. And so, yeah, maybe they feel like they have a little bit more desperation to play her. Like, yeah, we just stole from them. They already kind of don't like us. Like, hell, let's just keep burning that bridge further. Maybe when we meet up in a couple of weeks' time, a couple trips to Sack Rock Island will be enough to rebuild that bridge.
But yeah, it kind of signals to them. Oh, sorry, Liana.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it kind of signals to the team that they're helping, like, wink, wink, let's work together when we get to the merge. And I think that's probably the better move than like, say if they even helped the other team because they wanted to like keep things even or something like that, or like apologize. I feel like that would have came off way more untrustworthy. But yeah, I feel like you don't see it as much in these seasons because, like, even with the Michaela example, that's because she was trying to save the original millennials she came in with. So when that's why we don't see it that often, because it's like, why would one of the 3 tribes put their necks out and kind of like draw a line in the sand before the merge? That's really risky. But in this case, I guess they thought, it would benefit them, which I think it was, I liked it, at least from an entertainment perspective. I was like, okay, yeah.
Well, we saw also before, after the reward, they kind of the tribes kind of signaled to each other. Like, I felt like, I don't know.
Do you mean by Sammy doing like various touchdown dances every time he leaves a challenge now?
Yeah, but like indicating towards Red, like, I don't know. I felt like they were interacting. Maybe that was just an editing trick to show us like, oh, look, they have a good relationship, or they're trying to make us think they have a good relationship. Because it was like then a shot of Jesse laughing or something, in response to like, oh, haha, they're so jovial and like friendly with one another. But the thing is like, if Coco goes again, they're down to 4 people. Right. And they're not like this powerhouse tribe that they might be perceived to be. And then they're coming into the merge with only 4. So, it's not like it's so clear where there's 6 and then 3 and 3, for example. Right. Where it's like you've got one tribe completely intact and the other 2 are like dying. It's all still close in the fact that it's 4-5-5 now. So it's not like there's one tribe that's like clearly ahead.
Yeah, though I think for Coco, I mean, the last challenge, that reward challenge, besides the very first challenge that Cody was able to hack, like, they've won every single challenge so far. So yeah, I agree. Right now, things seem okay, but I could see an argument to be made from their point, right? About like, it's all about momentum. They experienced it by losing 2 challenges in a row, how tough it is to pull yourself out of that. If they're like, they're just going to keep steamrolling. Season 41's in the back of their head. Maybe it's the blue buff, but they're like, we don't want to Luvu this situation. I mean, look, is it messy? Absolutely. That's why they're named Vessi. But I am so happy to see it, because the other thing as well is, like, I love cross-tribal interactions, especially ones that don't involve advantages. As interesting as Shipwheel Island Sack Rock is, the fact that it always has to be tied with, like, okay, and someone's going to get an advantage out of it kind of sucks. I like the idea of, like, okay, let's just have cross-tribal interaction without necessarily needing to include something to be in somebody's bag that's we need to keep track of. That seems, again, a little more old school, which I think this season is comparatively in its storytelling and its casting from seasons 41 and 42. And so I appreciate, again, that opportunity.
The other thing I wanted to say about the immunity challenge, and this is not it's just a fact. It was something that Jeff said that made me laugh so hard. So I'm going to repeat it now because it was funny and I'd like to say it. It was when Dwight is moving about as slow as you can move while still moving.
As Owen would say, thanks, Professor.
I don't know why. That really made me laugh. I was like, sassy Probst on form, on point.
But like sassy, but also like incredibly awkward to say.
Verbose, a little like brevity. We need brevity.
I mean, I think he's just Dwight is moving about as slow as you can move while still moving. It's too much moving, right? Like we gotta cut that down a little bit.
Yeah, I got the point though. It's like it's the bare minimum of what would be like considered moving.
Like legally alive.
Yeah, but not concise. We could workshop that one a little bit more.
Yeah, Jeff's like, Cody carrying as much weight as the number of words in this sentence that I am currently speaking as they're working on the challenge in Survivor 43.
Yeah, look, he's got a lot going on. Okay,
but then Dwight follows it up with a thanks, Jeffrey, which is very fun because Dwight compared himself to Wendell in the preseason. I feel like Jeff rarely gets the Jeffrey. I remember Wendell gave it to him, and I think Courtney Yates did, and I can't remember a lot of others who have done it.
I love a Jeffrey. It's good when people do that.
Especially if he's gonna sass you. I think it's like the right amount of sass back,
Yeah.
because you can't really like piss him off. So
and like it's his name. I'm
so
assuming.
I also assume.
Like, what if his name was?
Maybe it's just Jeff.
Jefferonium.
Yeah, it could be like Jeff Barry Probst.
Jeff Barry Probst.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Jeffrey, but you know what? I've never known how the Jeffrey is spelled. Not that matters when you're saying it out loud, but like,
speaking of spelling, can we talk about the Lindsay votes for a second? Like,
oh God,
dear Lord, talk about reading is fundamental. So is spelling.
And she spells it like the most common way, I think.
I wasn't it? Who is it that was asking how do you spell? I want to say it was Cody who said something about like how do you spell Justine or something.
Yeah.
Like,
when in the first episode, but remember in that first episode there was that story, right, of like, oh, my parents thought I'd be a boy, so they just added an E at the end of Justin. Maybe Cody was like off just in La La Land at that point in time.
That's funny.
Oh yeah,
I wonder. My theory with the whole Lindsay misspelling is that not seen on screen, Cody came in and did a negotiation like, all right, I'll take your fishing gear, I'll take your lives, and I'll take your consonants. So good luck writing down these names.
Is
for
stealing your
tribals they cannot use. It'll never live up to the Lindsay misspelling from last season 42 with Lindsay, Lynze. That's my favorite. I think for the rest of the season I tweeted only with that spelling because that's just, I mean, at least they could have like showed homage. Maybe they hadn't seen those episodes yet, but Lindsay.
Z. Also, according to Wikipedia, it is Jeff Probst. Jeffrey Lee Jeff Probst.
Jeffrey Lee.
Well, Jeffrey Lee Probst. I think Lee is his middle name. Lee. And it's
Jeffrey Lee Probst.
Get in here. Probst. Did you track mud on this floor?
Another JLP.
Survivor?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say, should we have called him JL Probst? Do you think that's snappier than Jeff Probst?
JL Probst.
No.
JL Probst sounds like a mortgage firm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Call
exactly.
JL Probst.
If you want to negotiate for a reward that you didn't win.
Yeah, JP Morgan who?
Probst. 877 idle now.
Oh, that's good. Get Jeff on the Jeff phone if you want. Like, oh, you could have just asked me for an idol. It's in the catalog. You could have stickied it.
Yeah, can you swap for that too? Is that allowed?
This is totally tangential. So we're all millennials. We, back in the day, remember getting like the Toys R Us catalog and you get stickers and you get to like put them down on the things that you want. So we received one now for Amazon that is similar.
What?
With stickers?
With stickers. It's very strange though to have like a full hard copy catalog of Amazon.
How did they fit all of Amazon?
How thick is it? Is it
like exactly. It's like,
volume?
like the War and Peace. No. I mean, it's just like toys for Christmas, right? I mean, that's essentially what that catalog was. But like, it's still very odd that Amazon of all places, right? When the entire MO of him is like, do everything online. It's all virtual, etc. It's like, we're gonna kill these trees to make sure you get that hard and fast nostalgia. Like Angela told me, she's like, do you think this is like more of a hit for the kids or the parents that are probably having kids around this age that remember these types of things?
Yeah, I bet, I don't know, something about like it's almost like the opposite of instant gratification, so you wouldn't think it would work, like, because you're putting a sticker on it when it's like on the computer you can just press buy now, but whatever.
Well, my guess is it's for the kids, right? You like give it to the kid, and then the kid puts the stickers, and then the parents can like go and order on Amazon. But I think it does make sense. Weren't they originally a book company, book seller or something? So they're just back to their book roots.
That's so true. And now they're just overlords of the whole world. And those two things are on equal levels.
Yeah.
A bookstore and that other thing that I said.
Overlords, yeah.
So that begs the question, because this was a thing back during, I would say, the middle school episodes of Survivor. I remember very specifically Survivor Cook Islands. There was an episode where they got delivered like a catalog that they could turn through to say, okay, you pick what you're competing for. Want to know what you're playing for? It's right there in front of you. Should this happen, especially now with the new idea that we could always trade for previous rewards?
It was a Sears catalog, right?
I think it was the Sears catalog.
Oh my gosh. What if the Sears catalog included all the previous rewards? And you could pick, like, could you pick a car?
Oh, like all the previous rewards.
Oh, well, just like tribe ones, right? What if I could pick a car, please?
Wait.
Yeah, I'll pick my loved one. Can you get my mom out here?
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm trying to remember if Jeff specified any previous reward like from this season or just any previous reward at any time.
I mean, it's definitely from this season, but I'd like to imagine that it's from any point, including like the final 3, like the final 4, whatever, wine and cake, or what. You're like on day 2 with your tribe and you're like, we'd like that, please.
Jeff, please fly me in a hot air balloon above the wilds of Africa for an overnight trip right now.
Yeah, over
the helicopter ride, please.
The helicopter ride through Brazil, or like pick some random reward,
Yeah, Jeff, please give me all the chewed up meat from that one reward where they had to eat all the pig.
No, I want the meat that was previously in their mouth when they were fighting.
Is that what you meant? I don't meat from Survivor South Pacific.
I would like John Cochran's herpes meat. Oh no.
Yep, that's my fantasy football team name next year. John Cochran's herpes meat.
I hate that I said that on something that's going to be recorded. That is being recorded.
Yeah, your phone just turned out into a TikTok without you even realizing. It's just gonna stay in the background. It's like a parrot.
I didn't foresee the way that it would end up.
Poorly chosen words. We can edit that one down too. You and Jeff we'll workshop that.
I want you to specifically say, like, Jeff, give me John Cochran's herpes meat. He's like, been there, done that, sister.
Yeah, believe me.
Oh no.
It wears a little vest too. Okay. On that note, you want to talk about predictions?
Let's
talk about Lindsay. Let's move on.
Let's talk about
from the
things that might test positive or negative. Yeah, in terms of predictions. Let's talk about Lindsay here, because like I want to first start off with, again, the surprise, whether it be from an internet perspective or a general perspective about Lindsay. Because I will say, I think 3 episodes in, if I'm generally taking the temperature, if I'm assigning a grade to the Survivor community in terms of Lindsay's winner odds, I put it at about an 8.5, which is like, has anyone been to school in this show?
Famously, the American grading system, which goes from a 1 to 10 and has half points.
Yeah, like I don't know. Is Ryan actually the Olympian, not Noelle? Of like, oh yes, the judges at school gave me an 8.5.
8.5, yes.
8.5. Yeah, on no scale is that correct, but go on.
But essentially, it seemed like, at least the first few episodes in, like, I'm looking at Peridium's video, right, of like the true contenders to win Survivor 43. There's Lindsay Cardine front and center. Cut to Lindsay getting her torch snuffed. And to your point, Liana, like, it came so suddenly, so quickly. Do we have a general, like, I don't know, opinion about Lindsay? Because that's the tough thing as well. Due to Coco not getting a lot of time in the spotlight, and usually when it is, it's a lot through Carla. I do feel like, unfortunately, by proxy, we didn't get a terrible amount of Lindsay in, like, episodes 2 and 3. Even before we get to the predictions, like, Liana, what are your thoughts on this version of Survivor Lindsay?
Yeah, Lindsay was interesting. Like every once in a while, there were moments where she would say something, and it would. I don't know exactly what she said, but I remember there was one moment she was like leaning over, like in the shelter, and she was talking with someone, and she said something like just so incredibly direct. Like no one would ever say something like so direct on Survivor because you're not going to be like, no, you can't do that, right? Like, no, like is anyone really ever going to say that? And I remember like being intrigued by her, but also assuming that she was going to be on the show for much longer. So I didn't like think anything of it that I had such little time with her that I wasn't like, I thought, oh, she's going to be really interesting. We're getting these little snippets. I'm so excited to get to know her. And then it was like, the only thing I knew about her was that she was incredibly paranoid and then she left. Like the end. I had much higher hopes for her in terms of her longevity within the game. So like I said, this is definitely a shock for me to have her go so soon.
Same. I was completely shocked. I actually really liked her just from the very little that we got. Like, even from episode 1, she stood out to me because she had kind of a confessional about, like, this being harder than she thought and, like, failing at the key getting challenge, which also is like, oh, that's not a failure, but I get it because it's your first challenge of Survivor. So it's like your first opportunity. And if you fail, it feels probably much harsher than what we think it looks like on TV. So I honestly thought that we were getting set up for like a growth arc kind of thing where like she was really doubting herself in the beginning, but I thought like she looks physically strong. She seemed sociable. Like she seemed smart. She's a super fan of the game. I loved that. Like she's probably way more of a real super fan than so many of the people who are now not to gatekeep, but she's been watching for 20 years as an adult human being, like before she met her husband and like she got that content where I was like, she's an OG fan. It's different than, people who like we welcome all like, but I watched when I was 7 years old. Like that's
it's very different from Cody, right? Who says like last episode, like, oh yeah, I've watched a bunch during quarantine. And I thought it was a pretty cool thing. I was like, oh, I can jump off of rocks, as opposed to Lindsay, right? Who said is season 1, day 1.
Yeah, so you probably figure she's been applying for a while. This means a lot to her. And so I really thought we were getting that kind of thing. And I don't know. I was really looking forward to getting cool, pretty mom representation. Like she just seemed like, we usually get like one mom on the season. And like, I don't know why there aren't more. And then like, it seems to always be some stereotype or another of like a mom. Like either it's like she's bossy or she's like frumpy or whatever it is, and it's like I just mean in general over the course of
I'm just imagining like Mrs. Doubtfire now.
Mrs. Doubtfire. And this was like she like is I forget if she's a doctor or she's a health
nurse.
professional,
pediatric nurse.
Pediatric nurse.
And like she seemed like a cool person. And I was excited to see kind of like that demographic be good at the game. And I don't think she was bad at the game. And I have many opinions on everything that happened. But yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's like coming in, I think to your point, Gabby, like based on her demographic, you never know. We saw this happen last week with Nneka, who is someone who is, I believe, like only 1 year older than Lindsay, also a mom, might sometimes be stereotyped for that. As Jesse talked about last week, like nobody wants to vote out their mom, but also like nobody wants to be mommed around essentially on the island. And so I'm glad that Lindsay at least didn't necessarily seemed to fall into that, but I loved when she was like firm. Like she was the one that really did like mutually assured destruction with Cody, right? When he's like, "Oh, what if I took the machete?" She's like, "Yeah, you realize if you do that, like it's war. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
not
it
gonna be
was
able
so
to financially
blunt.
recover from this." Like I love the fact that, to your point, yeah, she's able to be blunt, and she's able to maybe to give a bit more of those, again, like not trash talking, but like some of those more snarky confessionals. And yeah, it seemed like, just again, like on paper, she seemed well set up with this 4-person majority. She seemed to like physically, socially, strategically there. And it just goes to show, like, Survivor can be such a crapshoot sometimes, or it can just be
Yeah.
a thing where the wind blows one way, or something is said that you take the wrong way, and then like you are from the top to the bottom automatically. And it sucks. She was someone who I think, and we'll talk about this with our predictions, definitely had a lot of longevity for the game and had a good head for the game, seemingly until like the hours leading up to Tribal Council, where from our perspective, she seemed to just really fly loose, vocally tell her allies, "Are you guys going to keep me?" Essentially saying, "Liana, are you bitches conspiring against me?"
Yeah.
Which then caused them to conspire against her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it definitely feels self-inflicted for sure. And something that I think paranoia is obviously normal, right? Of course, of course. Like you should be probably at least a little bit paranoid. But I think it was just like sort of the level to which she took it, in terms of talking with her allies, especially, that really just pushed everything over the edge. But yeah, so I had Lindsay making the jury because I thought she was going to the jury. I said that she would be out in front as the leader of the Coco tribe as a physical competitor and would help them win several challenges in the pre-merge. She would form a tight duo with Carla, which helps her make it deep into the merge, but they are perceived as a threat. So she's idled out of the game at final 6. I don't know why I was so
Whoa.
specific, but I was. Is a Jeff favorite, sorry, I should say a Jeffrey favorite, is a Jeffrey Lee Probst favorite,
Yeah.
and gets called Carmine by the end of the game. Her ally was Carla. Her enemy was an idol, parentheses, Ellie, question mark. I assume Ellie idled her out in
So
my
specific.
fanfic. I know, my bad. And she had 40 confessionals.
Oh my God. Do people normally even have 40?
Okay, so I looked, when we were predicting confessional number, I looked at the confessional accounts for Winners at War as my like reference. I just Googled Survivor confessional accounts, the first
You were
chart
thinking,
that popped
okay,
up.
when did we last have Gabby on the B&B? That's when I want to go
yeah,
back
that's
to.
what I'm going for. And so yeah,
So we
I'm
all
very
remember.
off the season in my number. So
It's okay. I love it.
I'm trying to look up how many confessionals you had, Gabby, by comparison. Yeah, and just for comparison purposes, Lindsay ended with 8.
But I like that Liana's like, based on no information, I'm going to guess that she's going to be the most highly edited woman on Survivor of all time after getting idled out specifically by this other woman who is on another tribe. I love it.
Well, I had high hopes.
I had perhaps higher hopes.
Oh no.
Lindsay was the second place finisher in my version of this season.
I love that.
So I said that she would be this season's smiling assassin. She'd utilize her southern charm to come across as amiable and harmless, while also planning some of the biggest moves of the season. She gets at least one scene where she has to tend to a tribe member who got hurt in challenge or at camp, true to her, again, pediatric nurse perspective. She is the individual challenge beast of the season, again, showcasing the misconceptions about her. After her closest ally, Carla, gets taken out, she gets taken in by Jesse's Angels. Again, perhaps lending my hand as to how I thought the season would go. She proceeds to see the target on him, wins the final immunity, sends him into fire. This was the entire Justine thing we talked about, right? Of like, Jesse beats Justine here. Lindsay finishes as the first runner-up, with some of the jury feeling personally hurt by her double-crossing them, something she swore she wouldn't do preseason. Her closest ally would be Carla. Her enemy would be Gio, then Sammy, then Jesse. She would have a little bit less than you, only 34 confessionals.
Okay,
and
yeah, there we go.
The randomly generated phrase for Lindsay was, "The beach was crowded with snow leopards."
I'm not sure I quite get that one.
I mean, it could mean a lot of things, right? Could it be like being out of your element, perhaps? Could it be feeling in an environment where everyone else is the same and you are not?
So is she the snow leopard?
I mean, it remains to be seen.
Ooh, I love that. It's so deep.
All right,
Love
Gabby.
that fake quote.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get that. Just with my new gatekeep. We're submitted to
Yeah.
what? My
Yes!
funky t-shirts.
Needed
Or
on
what's the
Shirts
name of the
that go
t-shirt
hard.
shop? T-shirts go hard. Yeah. It's what was it? The beach was crowded with snow leopards.
Yeah, they'll love that.
All right, Gabby, who by the way had I believe 27 confessionals in Survivor David versus Goliath.
Oh, well,
True.
again, I love the idea that Lindsay would have more than most people by the end of the game. I wish that were true.
Do you have any sense as to which one of us did better on our horrifically incorrect predictions about Lindsay?
Oh my gosh. Okay, the thing is, Mike, you went way too high with second place, but also I feel like I would have really liked that outcome. And you did have Gio listed as an enemy. You both had that she worked with Carla. Okay. Liana, I'm gonna say one good thing that you did. The good thing that you did was creativity.
You wrote something. You
It was
produced
creativity.
an
You
assignment.
really went really specific with and it unfortunately this time didn't pan out in your favor. I'm gonna give this one to Mike.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you get an 8.5, Liana.
I get-
Is
oh,
there-
yeah, an
8.5. Only because there was no idol involved, and I guess I'll
Mm.
just give Mike the Geo thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, by the way, I did do the quick math. So we're keeping for the confessionals, we're seeing how far off we are, right? So if if Lindsay, I said she got 40, but she only got 8, then I would get a total of 32 points. Highest score loses. Mike is currently off by 55 total confessionals.
Seems like a lot.
I am off by 96 total confessionals.
Within the
so
first 4
many.
episodes, you're nearly in triple digits.
Oh my god, there haven't even been that many like collective.
4 people have been voted out.
Yeah, I know. I should have done the math. I think like the total math for my confessionals is going to be like thousands of confessionals.
Yeah, like it doesn't even add up.
It
adds up to longer than Survivor's runtime.
Exactly. Yeah, it's oops all confessionals. Like that's
you're
like,
oh, I heard
else.
this thing. Okay, they're gonna have a 2-hour first episode, 90-minute second episode. All episodes will be at least 90 minutes. There's gonna be at what 50 confessionals every episode.
See? Logic.
That is absolutely wild.
Oof. Okay, well, let's recover from my bad math and let's see how you guys fare when it comes to our game for this week's episode. Okay, so we are going to be playing Casuals Corner, where I have gone to the Survivor Facebook page and pulled Casuals comments. You know, they've been a little dicey, I will say.
Racist. You should say racist.
Yeah, by dicey, I mean racist, just like straight racist. So, we've really been avoiding them. But on just a gut feeling, I went and checked. I think they were in rare form. So we've got a bunch of comments. So the way it's going to work, this is all going to be multiple choice. I will read you, total of 4 comments. 3 are from the Survivor Facebook page and 1 I wrote. So it's up to you to determine which comment I wrote. So let's begin with the woman of the hour, Lindsay, her boot episode. The Casuals had a lot to say about Lindsay. So Gabby, we'll go to you for the first question here.
I'm so excited.
Here are your comments. A, I'm sad to see her go, but as they say, paranoia is the fly in the soup. B.
They.
They. B. She ruined my fantasy game. C. Middle-aged white women can wreck a good situation for ourselves and do it quickly. I say this as a middle-aged white woman. We are our own worst enemies.
Whoa.
Okay, I stand.
This is like a mask off Karen moment.
Or D, her paranoia was just too paranoying. She got her own self voted out.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My thought process is the last one's a little too cute. I think either like Liana's really proud of that or like but I'm not going to make a comment on how funny or clever I think that wordplay is, but I don't think that's yours, Liana.
Okay.
As much as you might want to think that you came up with something so clever. I don't actually know what any of the RHA RHA people. That's a snappy
I
way
like
to
that.
say it.
RHA
The RHA
people.
people who are in a fantasy league. I don't remember what any of your teams look like. So my big galaxy brain right now is like, what if Liana wrote the one that's like, she ruined my fantasy team because she was on Liana's fantasy team and I don't know who was on the fantasy teams. I don't even know if Liana's in a fantasy team. But I'm just gonna guess that one.
Okay, so unfortunately that is incorrect. But I didn't. You were right about D. I did not write that. The casuals wrote that she was just too paranoying. No, the Survivor Facebook guys have like their own fantasy game thing that they play.
I'm sure, but it was just not.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, no. I get it. No, the one that I wrote was A. I'm sad to see her go. As they say, paranoia is the fly in the soup.
I almost did guess that one, but good job capturing the nonsensical.
The fly in the soup,
as they say.
I mean, good for that older middle-aged woman who like took a good look in the mirror and was like, "Am I the problem?"
Yeah, I honestly loved that. Okay.
Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Okay, Mike, we're going to you. So the other person that the casuals talked about a lot was Cody. They really, really like Cody. So these 4 comments are all about Cody. A, Cody reminds me of old school Survivor players. He is having a great time. B, there's no personality.
Wait, is this to imply that new school players are just absolutely miserable and don't have fun?
I don't get the connection. Yeah, exactly. He's having a great time. Also, do you know whatever. Anyway, B, there's no personality except Cody this season. C, Cody is Aussie baby. D,
Aussie baby.
Aussie's baby?
Aussie's baby? Just Cody is Aussie baby. And Cody is capitalized, Aussie is not. Cody is Aussie baby. Cody should have taken...
Oh, is that like he's Australian?
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, Cody should have taken D.
Well, the thing is, like, Cody kind of looks like an Australian. With no offense to our Aussie listeners out there.
What does that mean?
Well, he looks like kind of like I'd run into him like in Canberra. I'd be like, all right, I'll go. Here's a meat pie in my pocket. You need some? Like he seems like a bogan, is what I would say. Like like John from Australian Survivor, right? Like he seems like that type of just like kind of wild cardy guy.
Is it the hair?
It might be the hair because John also had a mullet.
Dude. Yeah, it's the Okay.
Okay, so that's 3. Or is it D? Cody should have taken one of their tribe members instead of gear and food.
Now that
Can
would
you
be
steal
interesting.
a person?
I mean, I think that's technically slavery. I don't know what flies in Survivor.
They're not a reward.
They're a person.
They're a person.
Yeah, I think the human trafficking part would probably just stay away from
Now,
from
could
that.
you trade them for a comparable amount, right?
Like another person?
Like I will get if I get Ryan, I will give you his weight in fish.
That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish. I don't know. I might take that deal.
Yeah, I don't think we should be bartering humans for inanimate objects, but it's just my gut feeling on that one. All right, Mike, what are you thinking in terms of what comment?
Well, I've completely lost the plot, so you'll have to read this out again for me.
Okay, A, Cody reminds me of old school Survivor players. He is having a great time. B, there's no personality except Cody this season. C, Cody is Aussie baby. D, Cody should have taken one of their tribe members. Also, there is spelled There. I don't know if that makes a difference for you. Tribe members instead of tribe members instead of gear and food.
See, I feel like Aussie baby. I'm inclined to go with that because that feels like something. That's a very fly in the soup thing. I'm gonna say C.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
But then she tries to trick us by saying the Aussie's lowercase. You know what, Liana? You did that. You did that.
I did type it like that. I did. Aha. All right.
That got you a shrimp on the barbie.
No. All right, Gabby. So this next category of questions, it's a guess potentially who they're talking about. Some are more clear than others. This category is just called who?
Who? Okay.
Who? Okay, so here are your 4 comments. A, Gio should been voted out, or that other woman. Other woman. There's no R on other. B, Nose Earring ran the show. Good for her.
Nose earring.
Wait, no, like stop. I'm pulling the lever. We have to drill. We have to drill down. Nose
Earring for your
earring.
Nose Earring ran the show. Good for her.
Yeah.
But okay, wait, but like the actual term. So
nose.
is
Some
the,
might
is
say
the
nose
implication,
ring.
Yeah, would someone just believe that every piercing is called an earring?
I love my belly button earring.
Yeah.
Oh my
Got
god.
some new nipple earrings today.
Yeah, like the Prince Charles, that's a different type of earring entirely.
Oh my god. I'm upset.
Ear is
Everything
part
an
of the
ear.
name. Why
Ear,
would you
yeah.
I like it's ear ring, nose ring. Like, well, it's there.
Yeah. A nose earring.
Nose earring.
Oh my god.
Okay. C, haven't been able to get into this season. Seems boring. They need to bring Russell Hands back.
No, call him
Wait,
Russell Hands.
how did they spell the last name?
Hanz. Hands.
Oh, okay.
I was
Russell
really
Hands.
hoping it was like hand HAND.
I got my Russell Hands.
Hands ring.
My Russell hands to do rustling and ruffling with.
Okay, or
Oh, just imagine this person like, I got my Russell Hands. Come here. I'm gonna wrestle you. Come here. Just start
Yeah.
like through the Gabler the palm front
Through the
blankets.
palm fronts. We haven't even gotten to D yet? Okay.
Yeah, here's D. Used to look forward to Survivor when it first come out. Over the years, they changed it, so I can't keep up with this idol and that idol and this other island with Rob and what's her name?
Oh no.
Not
That
Sandra,
was
just
so
what's
long
her
ago.
Oh, what's her name? Yeah, I mean, listen, it was on before Gabby's last appearance on the B&B, so it was a different era.
That's so true.
Truly.
I mark all-time points in my life as when I was last on the Airbnb during season 40, which I obviously have remembered this whole time. Oh my gosh, Liana, those are so funny. I'm torn between B and D. What was B again?
B was Nose Earring ran the show. Good for her.
That is so funny, and I'd like to think that Liana is messing with us. I'm gonna go for B.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love that though. Nose earring. That is so funny.
Do you think, yeah, like imagine somebody writing down in tribal council like nose earring and Jeffrey Lee Probst is like, who's this?
Who is
what
this?
What are you referring
Who wrote
to?
this?
Who wrote?
Well, it reminds me, Liana, of the
names.
opening, one of the opening challenges from BB24, right? Like, didn't they have to put earrings on their noses? They literally had to make nose earrings.
That's true. Yes, I think they had to hang them up in those nostrils. So, all right, great. So we're tied 1-1. Mike, this question is for you. Now, part of this also, maybe we are just going to try to figure out what they're saying. This category is called what? Okay.
Ooh.
Comment A. How hard is it to wash yourself in the ocean? It's salt water. Clothes can be washed. Not sure I believe that. That was A.
Wait,
What?
okay. So the first part of it makes it feel like they were being sarcastic. Like they're so dirty. How hard is it to wash stuff in the ocean? It seems sincere the further you get into the paragraph.
Also, like, did I miss something from the episode? Are they?
But also, like, what?
What? That's yes, I said. So the category is called what? Just what?
What?
Yeah. How hard is it to wash yourself in the ocean? It's salt water. Clothes can be washed. Not sure I believe that.
I don't know what he's referring to.
Is it
Or
just that like you can't wash? They don't like the idea of you washing clothes in the ocean because it's salt water, so like it might stiffen it or it doesn't disinfect it or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, they're saying probably there was a scene of people washing themselves. And then he was like, how? I think it was Ernest.
Okay.
An earnest comment?
I believe. I mean, I
How
believe you.
Ernest goes to the Survivor
hard is
Facebook
it?
page.
Just wondering, how hard is
How
it
hard
to
is
wash your clothes in the water? It's salt water. Not sure I believe it.
Not sure I believe that. I don't know
That-
if that's
Yeah,
in
I
their
think that's
That
a
could
large
get it
jump to go
clean.
from how does it work to I'm not buying it.
We
I think there's
have like a
laundromat.
dangling participle somewhere. Like I'm like, believe what that? What's that? I don't know if that's a dangling participle. It's been a long time since I was a writing major.
All right. Well, that's just comment A. Let's talk about comment B. The new format is not as God as before. I think thus will be the demise.
So true, bestie.
Okay,
I
mean,
know,
yeah,
right?
That's
Same.
the thing. God, like this is such a secular era of Survivor. The Lord has not been brought into it nearly as much as it has been the past 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have Julie also, on a child of God out here. So, okay, so that's B. C. I can issues with the challenge after the steal of fishing equipment should be soon.
Are they hinting towards something? It's like a
Sounds
QAnon
true.
thing of like, just you wait, it's coming.
Should be soon.
Should be soon.
Okay, or D. I would watch that Cody took the bat to the island.
Huh?
The bat.
The bat.
I didn't
would
realize
watch
that was the thing that he stole.
I would watch.
I would watch that Cody
All right,
took the bat
give
to
me
the
your
island.
give me those lines. Give me your baseball equipment.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a previous reward. Maybe they could have just traded for that, but
Coco's living large. They're doing t-ball practice out on the beach. They have nothing to worry about. They're not going to tribal council.
yeah, exactly. Playing games all day. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you think?
All right, so we have the running dialogue into like blatant denial of washing your clothes in the ocean.
Yes.
We have not enough God in Survivor.
Yep.
We have something's coming soon, and with the fate warning / threat. And then we have Cody's bat.
Yes.
Oh God. I mean, you did a really good job on these because these are all failing every semblance of sentence structure that has existed in the history of mankind. I would say, this is going to be, unlike this season, a literal shot in the dark here. I'm going to go with A.
No, that was again, we believe genuine comment. No, it was D. It's the one that I wrote. Yeah. I would watch that Cody took the bat to the island. Yeah, I mean, it was
supposed
tough.
to be boat?
I think so. I don't know. It was tough to make up stuff that like sounded terrible, but also wasn't like so terrible. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, no, most of those are real. So good for them.
I thought C was you because it was
should be soon.
Bad and creepy.
Hey,
but that makes it even better that it's Facebook, right?
No, just that not that you're bad and creepy, but that you would make it sound bad and creepy.
That's what I would put on the casual. Yeah, sure.
The character of the casual. Exactly.
Yes, my character. Yes, exactly. It's a character. No, I can issues with the challenge after the steal of fishing equipment should be soon. No, true comment. Okay, Gabby, let's go back to you. Now, the casuals hated one thing in particular quite a bit about this season so far.
Carlo's nose earring.
Not the nose earring. No. It is puzzles. So here are comments about the puzzles.
Oh, no.
A, they need to find other immunity challenges except puzzles. Enough on the puzzles. B, so many puzzles. Why so many puzzles? C, Survivor needs more puzzles. Said no fan ever. Got him. D, Jeff, for the love of all that is holy in this world, please ... no ... more ... puzzles.
Oh my gosh, are the puzzles how many puzzles did we have?
Well, I'm trying to think. So like we've had so far we had the table maze in the first episode. The second
Barely
episode
call that a puzzle.
Second episode and third episode did have puzzles, right? That's where NECA collapsed both times. This past episode, I guess, did have. The first one was not. It was tossing the sandbags onto the sex swing platforms. And then the second one was it's for like little teeny tiny people. And then the second one was the shapes, right? It's a square and now it's a triangle,
which I loved.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
I mean, I'm just never gonna agree with these people because I love puzzles, but also like there haven't been that many.
Well, what I will say though is like what I love about this episode as well is that like I adore John Kierhofer and like all the work he has to do. These challenges seem like creative but jank, if that's like a phrase, and that like they're like, all right, how can we get across the sand this time besides running? How about they have to stand on the blocks and use them like little stilts to get over to one side?
I loved that. It was giving me Worlds Apart, the barrels
Yes.
Oh yeah.
challenge. Yeah.
I was obsessed with it, and just like to have Cody be like, and then in the puzzle, right, where it's like, all right, well, we don't need we don't need to pay for 2 puzzles. Let's just make one puzzle done 2 different ways.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Resourceful.
Wow.
Okay, Gabby.
Okay.
So which comment do you think was written by me?
They were all pretty comparable. I'm gonna guess C because I thought it was the funniest.
I agree, it is the funniest, but unfortunately, I did not come up with that.
Oh
No,
my gosh.
the casuals out there bait and switching. No, I said D. Jeff, for the love of all that is holy, please. ... No. ... More puzzles. Okay, Mike. Next category, but it's the same category. It's puzzles part 2.
Oh God! It's been
Comment-
4 episodes.
Comment A. Please get rid of the stupid puzzles. ... Boring. ... B. Every challenge a puzzle. Come on. C. If I wanted a puzzle, I'd buy a Sudoku book. Or D.
Oh, okay. Are these the people from the Challenge USA?
Yeah, it came over. D. Ageism, puzzles. Give it a break. How about some hard challenges?
Ageism,
Oh.
puzzles. Give it a break. How about some hard challenges?
Is that a haiku?
Whoa, so poetic.
Ageism, puzzles.
I feels like a loose
Right.
word association, right? Like ageism, puzzles, puzzles. Give it a break.
But it was funny.
Slam poetry.
Exactly.
I love that comment because I was like, okay, so the ageism obviously applies to Lindsay, but they don't reference Lindsay at all. It's all about the challenges. Like puzzles, give it a break. How about some hard challenges? None of that has to do with like Lindsay's boot. Like I thought, anyway.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like it had nothing to do with what.
Also, like the
Ageism,
challenges
puzzles.
are hard. They've seemed hard, right? Well, I just love that these people are new to Survivor and have never seen a Survivor puzzle before.
Yeah,
like
well,
that's the other thing as well, is like obviously, there are certainly things to gripe about, to Gabby's point earlier about the boot order, or ageism, I guess I should say, and that it's the first time I think since season 17 that the first 4 boots have been women from a season. And I do think we're starting to see, at least in this season, a bit of like because the challenges, at least some portion, involves carrying around something heavy, therefore
Yeah.
you have to keep the big buff guys in. And so yeah, I'm not necessarily, I think there's actually a good reason why there's, the puzzles are in there. It's the great equalizer for a reason. Even besides that, like, again, one of them was throwing things onto a swing. It is interesting because I feel like we have done less of those carnival games and more so back to the puzzles. So maybe it's about evening it up, but yeah, wild thing to come in with. I guess if people are not interested in the cast, then they will go like, oh, what do I have to get mad at? Puzzles! Yeah, there are too many puzzles around.
Yeah. Suck it, puzzles.
All right, wait. So can you read them again one more time?
Yes. A. Please get rid of the stupid puzzles. ... Boring. ... B. Every challenge a puzzle. Come on. C. If I wanted a puzzle, I'd buy a Sudoku book. D. Ageism, puzzles. Give it a break. How about some hard challenges?
I think you wrote the Sudoku line.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was inspired by the challenge. So
I knew it.
All right. So you each get one more question. Gabby, this one's going to go to you. The one other thing that the casuals don't like, apart from puzzles, is talking. So this question is
But
just
that's the show.
about talking.
That's the show. That's what do you
They
do you
want pantomime.
Yeah, you want mimes on the show? Do you want it to be a silent movie?
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, A, this era of Survivor has too much talking. Bring back gross food challenges. B, more challenges, less talking, but not puzzles, okay? So just more challenges, less talking. C, oh, this season is so boring. Half hour of just talking. Let's go fishing. Let's cook some food. D, too much talking at tribal council. Show more footage of them at camp like you used to.
Oh, that one completely contradicts the. Oh
But
my
not talking at camp, just like chilling at camp, cooking,
Hanging
I
out.
guess.
So funny. Like old school Survivor was way more talking. Like all they were doing was talking, and like slowly.
Yeah, the challenges lasted like 5 minutes at most, and so a lot of it was talking because there weren't
Yeah.
advantages to find.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I don't know.
Oh shoot, I don't remember the order of them.
Okay, yeah. A, this era of Survivor has too much talking. Bring back gross food challenges. B, more challenges, less talking. C, oh, this season is so boring. Half hour of just talking, talking, talking. Let's go fishing. Let's cook some food. Or D, too much talking at Tribal Council. Show more footage of them at camp like you used to.
I'm gonna just guess D.
Unfortunately, it was A. This era of Survivor has too much talking. Bring back gross food challenges. But yes, I love that. I also love half hour of talking, talking, talking.
Talking.
I love this idea. I mean, I don't disagree about the tribal council stuff. That like, I think we talked about this last season, maybe Liana, right? This idea of sometimes they try to make a meal out of crumbs of like, all right, something wacky is gonna happen at tribal council, and so they throw in all these euphemisms and analogies. Right, this time it was Gio being like, it's like when the parents take away your TV, and Jeff's like, I don't want to be the mom. Come on, I'm the cool dad.
Yeah, not like a regular dad. He's a cool dad.
Oh, he would 100% be in the aisle with the camera filming Jingle Bell Rock.
I just imagine him in the like juicy couture sweatsuit thing. Like, I don't know why that popped in my brain. All right, so Mike, we've got one last question. I think you mathematically now have won, but let's go through these last comments. This is just potpourri episode talk. A, too many puzzle challenges. Did the creepy crawly eating challenges stop for a reason? I am enjoying this season so far. Just hope tribal councils don't start with members whispering who to vote for.
All that is
a lot of content.
That's one that's one comment.
Deep thoughts. Let me just like let them out there and see
We're
what
getting them
lands.
all out. I like that we included too many puzzle challenges. All right, B. I honestly miss the fire tokens twist they used for Winners of War.
The last time I was on the B&B?
Yeah, it's all
I
coming
think that's
back.
why they said
Full
when it
circle.
happens, Gabby only came back as part of her rider for fire tokens.
Okay, B. Oh no, that was B. C. This cast of Survivor is one of the most clueless to ever play the game. You all should be embarrassed. So that was
So, like,
those were in caps.
Every
all
other
caps.
word essentially is in
Sort
caps.
of, yeah. And D. I don't understand this.
I want to put that one in the Hall of Fame. That is just like so representative of so many things about Survivor, about life. That is a thing of beauty, in my opinion.
I
That's
want
like
that cross-stitched onto
it's
something.
like seeing a beautiful
understand
sunrise,
this. I don't
over a
understand this.
serene forest lake.
Yeah,
God,
me
oh, man.
always.
I feel touched by that. All right, so I'm not so I'm gonna count that one on because that is just the most gorgeous piece of life advice I've ever come across and has done the work of 30 motivational speakers, in my opinion. What were the first three?
Okay, the first one's a big boy. Too many puzzle challenges. Did
Yes.
the creepy crawling
big, too
eating
big.
stop for a reason? I am enjoying the season so far. Just hope tribal councils don't start with members whispering who to vote for. B, I miss the fire tokens twist they used for Winners at War. Or C, this cast of Survivor is one of the most clueless to ever play the game. You should all be embarrassed.
So I'm between A and C. C is interesting because it feels like it has some aesthetic flair that you like to put in there, much like with lowercase Ozzy, and which sounds like also the name of his baby, just a nickname for him, lowercase Ozzy. The other one, though, I feel like actually I'm between B and C because I feel like you would also like. I can't think of anyone who's genuinely like, oh, fire tokens.
I love fire tokens.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be B.
I wish that was real.
Oh my god!
I died as soon as I saw it. I was like, first of all, how do they even remember the fire tokens twist? And who liked the fire
Who
tokens?
is missing that?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, no, the one thing we really need to bring back. No, look, I'm now gonna take all credit. I wrote D. I don't understand this.
Liana.
So I just
Thank you.
Iconic.
I
My
know.
God.
I'm the new philosopher of our day. I don't understand.
That's
So
like
true,
Lexapro in a form of words.
Yeah, that was
I feel
me.
healed.
At the end of because it was the last question I wrote, and I was like, I don't understand this.
I thought that might be you, but I do think it still belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I agree.
okay,
Even
well-
more so now that we know it's, written by a tried and true Survivor fan.
And
I'll
I
go
still do want it cross-stitched.
I'll go comment it on the Facebook page so then it can be both. All right. Well, Gabby, it was a close fought battle. Final score of 2-1. Mike, you are the victor of our casuals corner.
Ooh.
Congratulations. Woo woo.
But the true winner is Aussie Baby.
Aussie baby.
Aussie
Yes,
baby.
Aussie baby. Aussie baby. What was that puppy monkey baby?
Yep, from the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. Is it like a Mountain Dew commercial?
What was that?
I
I don't know.
think
No free ads.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Aussie, tiny Aussie baby. Lowercase
It
Aussie
was
baby.
it was Mountain Dew, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, I forgot what this thing looked like. Oh Lord.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
'cause
terrifying.
they made him the creature.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I think
They
it has the lower
dollied him.
They dolly the sheepdom.
the lower half. I mean, the lower half looks like a baby dolly.
Should
Should
I dolly Aussie baby?
Oh, dolly,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the yes. Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's actually a great idea.
Should I just type in Aussie baby or should I type in Survivor Aussie baby?
I think Survivor
Uh,
Aussie baby.
Yeah,
Because I'd
Survivor
love to see
Aussie
what I
Baby.
can try to pick up for.
Me too. Survivor Aussie baby.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Alright.
I'll let you know when it's ready.
Okay, let's see what
Oh,
happens.
Well, as we wait for those, what I'm assuming will be horrifying results to come to the surface on your computer, as we like to do typically on the B&B here, we end things by giving the spotlight to our guests to highlight a charity or a cause outside of all the stupidity and silliness that we get into here, for people to check out. Gabby, it's on you this week. Is there anything that we should check out from a charity or a cause perspective this week?
Thank you, Mike. There's so many things happening in the world, and this is not like a deep cut or anything, but I think it's a very good organization for people to check out if they aren't aware of their work, which is just the ACLU. And the reason I bring them up is they will tackle basically any issue that is coming up in court and in laws that are trying to be passed through that are not good. So a lot of the, abortion and reproductive health stuff recently, and they also do plenty for racial and civil justice. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course. And a fantastic way to highlight it as well. So yeah, check out the ACLU and be sure to support it. So Gabby, this was fantastic. I'm happy we brought you back for the new era of the B&B where the casuals are more nonsensical than ever. John Cochran's herpes meat just casually gets brought up in conversations. It's a good time overall. Thank you as always for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm really glad I didn't enter that into the dolly.
Yeah.
If you're curious what the dolly, I might have to fine tune this a little bit more because for some reason Survivor Aussie is coming up as a mixture of a gerbil, a pug,
what?
and a hamster, and the pug and the hamster are wearing like little baby clothes.
Wait. Are you able to share your screen? Just go to like the little present button at the bottom. I want to see if we can see this.
Fantastic. Yes. Okay. Present. Share screen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Share screen.
I tried it also. I didn't get any gerbils, so I'm like very curious to see your results.
But what I really like is the third one.
Oh my!
What?
Who's wearing a pink and blue tiny sweatshirt that says Oizo. OOYZO. Oizo.
So I guess did they just say like, well, it's got 2 O's and a Z and a Y in it, so I suppose, or 2 Z. Yeah, there's some sort of smattering. It's an anagram, basically.
So I don't know why he's Aussie, or they, or Oizo.
That's close, right?
Uzo-
You get the O's, the Z, and a
Uzo.
Y.
Should I search Jeffrey Lee Probst?
Oh yes, 100%.
Aussie baby?
Sure, let's see. Let's see if
Aussie
Weezo is going to show his
baby.
face.
This is not going to make any sense, but
That is
Jeffrey Lee. JLP. This is going to be nonsense, I'm pretty sure, the JLP Aussie baby.
Oh!
Ah!
Oh no!
What is that one?
I'm so scared.
Okay, so the first one is a cat with like a survivor maze on its head. The second one
like a
is
naked cat. It's like a naked black cat with
it's like when a toddler
claws
calls
out.
chickens. We have the second one is a baby who looks like its neck has receded into its body, wearing
I'm
a
so
shirt that says
scared.
Zabor on it, ZZBOR. The third one is
Wait, there's more details to Zabor though. Like he's wearing like a basketball tank, this small baby, and he's laying on this like
What is
patterned bedspread. There's like a DVD
What's the
or a book,
purple thing?
and he's holding a weird purple thing that looks like a monster, or like the McDonald's Grimace
wait,
toy.
Is that the monster?
Oh my
that
god,
the
that's
monster?
the monster. I don't
These are
know.
actually all really scary.
I think the monster is the guy with the dog coming out of his chest.
Yeah, so that's the third one, is that here's a man who I guess sort of like xenomorph style has a pug or whatever, Frenchie, I think it is, climbing out of his shirt.
Oh my god.
But then the last one, Liana, can you please describe the last one?
I don't even know how to begin with this one. So there's a very creepy looking guy in the middle of the frame holding an adult baby thing. Like the face is an adult face, right? But it's like baby size.
It looks like a former presidential candidate Ross Perot.
It's like, so accurate size. And then he's got the little like don't they look like little clap hands? What like the baby's hands. Look at his right hand.
Yeah,
What
sort
is
of
that?
one's like a heart shaped. Like he doesn't have all of his
Like
fingers, maybe.
Yeah. And then there's like a zombie monkey.
What is it that the first guy's holding?
And like, yeah. And then
his arms are so small also.
Oh my god, no, it says Lowburn B. Joni, Jesty Berebi.
It's like Simlish.
Lowburn Bajani, Jesty Baribi.
It's like, oh no,
oh my god, that's how people spelled Lindsay on the vote.
Yeah, it is.
How do you spell
like,
it? LOBERN?
LITNLZ. Yeah, Lindsay.
I just feel like if you say this name, like some Pazuzu like demon is gonna come out of the water well and like grab you and pull it.
God, that thing is so scary.
This one is really, the text on it I think might summon, and it's like Dookie Bum, me nop in her by hot. It's like the voice of Beelzebub.
The voice of Satan.
Not leers vahin sangre. But I do love Lowburn Bajoni.
Yeah, Lowburn Bajoni's a jester. The is
Lowburn Bajoni, low key though, is like a pretty, like, I might name my next D&D character Lowburn Bajoni, because that is just a really fun name.
Just need to repeat.
Oh my god. Okay. Mine were like it's like the crayon one. So I don't know if that's like a little bit more accurate is maybe not the right word, but like at least they kind of look like babies a little bit. How do I add this?
You share your screen. Oh, yep, here we go. I got you.
Okay.
It's getting Survivor.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, the hills have eyes.
It's like it doesn't know how to do the faces, but like this is like a Survivor baby.
That's Aussie baby.
This is Aussie baby.
Oh, you're using the Dolly crayon. This
looks like Mel Gibson's Apocalypto.
Oh my god, that's Aussie baby.
Yeah, I think that's Aussie baby.
Oh,
we did it.
All right. Well,
anyway, enough of that nightmare fuel.
Exactly. Okay. Good luck sleeping tonight, everybody. That's the equivalent of Gabler throwing palm fronds on you.
No, it's worse.
Oh my god. All right. Well, I could not think of a better way to cap things off here on the B&B. Besides some plugs. So, Gabby, I know you obviously just have a lot going on in life, but if people want to keep up on your general musings about things, whether it be Survivor or otherwise, how can people catch up with you?
Yes, I'm on Twitter at Gabby Pascuzzi, and I'm on Instagram at Gabscuzzi, but mostly Twitter is where you can find the Survivor tweets. So, yeah.
Liana? You've had an interesting week this week.
Oh my God. Okay. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. We had a very chaotic week in terms of the Fox reality TV shows because they got preempted by baseball, but then The Masked Singer still aired in Canada. So like the episode's out there if you want to watch it, but it hasn't aired officially like in the US. So we have postponed both podcasts for Masked Singer as well as Lego Masters, and we'll be coming at you whenever Fox sorts their stuff out, hopefully this next week.
Yeah, this was wild. So a little bit like behind the scenes. So for Parade, I come up with like a little hub post for like, oh, who went home on these shows and these other shows. And so for The Masked Singer, which I do not watch live, I had no idea what was going on. I written up for what was in Canada. The show initially said like, we'll be on just after the baseball game.
Yeah.
Then the baseball game ended. They said, we're not gonna be on. And they're like, okay, is it gonna be on the next day? They're like, sure it will. But it won't. It'll be on next week. So now the United States is operating behind another entire country 1 week, essentially. So there's a lot of confusion happening.
So
Liana and
weird.
I have tried to exchange a number of texts of like, what's going on at the moment? What
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. To quote a wise.
I don't understand this.
I think especially because I mean maybe it's just because like we're so tapped in with the the Canadians of it all, right? Like it feels very the same to me. So I'm like, this makes no sense. But I don't know, that border, man. They're like, yes, Masked Singer here, no Masked Singer here.
Wild. Oh, and I also know you did something very fun though this past week for Lego Masters, right? Despite not having the episodic content.
Yeah, that's actually why it worked out okay, because at least we did put out a Lego Masters podcast. My sister co-host and my sister co-host, not like my sister and Marisa, my sister.
Is that like sister wife?
Yeah, my sister wives, my sister baby. So we recorded a interview with the two judges of Lego Masters, Amy and Jamie. It was very cool. So awesome to be able to pick their brains and get some behind the scenes information. And, hopefully we'll have maybe some more of those, maybe an interview with the winner potentially at some point coming out. So in the future. So yeah, definitely a good opportunity and very fun. Take a listen.
Cool.
And it went. Yeah, that is all the ASMR people out there are loving that. We'll check out the podcast more. No, that's really fantastic.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was so cool. Yeah, they were so easy to chat with. Like everything was fantastic about it. So listen to it.
Well, speaking of talking with awesome people, of course, I had the honor to talk with Lindsay this past week about her time on Survivor. She filled in a lot of blanks as to what was happening on the beach that day, particularly from her perspective, her sort of red flags that she ended up picking up, as well as her own mixed feelings, I think, watching everything back. Really great conversation with Lindsay. Check that out at parade.com, as well as my conversation with the pair most recently eliminated from The Amazing Race, as well as the Mega Leg saw its, foot. The end of it, I suppose, because we got half of it last time. So that's the upper part of the leg, I'm assuming. But very fun chat there. And then over on post-show recaps, doing some stuff with Lord of the Rings of Power, which recently ended. House of the Dragon is nearly at its end. Talking Heroes as well. So many irons in the fire, including the B&B, as we're going to continue to keep this fire stoked, as we are going to do what some of these casuals don't like the most about Survivor. We're going to talk next week. And I mentioned him before with his unfortunately timed video about the leading contenders for Survivor 43. Perhaps back to lick his wounds a bit by playing some fun in games. Peridium is going to be making his return to the B&B, which should be very exciting to recap episode 5. Really intrigued to see where we go from here, because on the external side of things, right, is Coco going to have a resentment towards the other two tribes? Obviously, we know resentment is just in the bloodstream of Baka. Even within Coco, though, like, this was a 4-1-1 vote. How is Gio going to feel about being left out of this? Seems like he's still going after Cassidy, so that should be incredibly interesting. This felt like, to me at least, on the outside, a turning point for the season in terms of tone, in terms of perhaps gamesmanship, and I'm really excited to see where we go next from here. Where we go next from here for Liana and I is hopefully checking out some of the games that you all suggest, which you can do by emailing us, rhapbnb@gmail.com, or tweeting us using the hashtag rhapbnb. We are accepting of any and all games that may be thrown our way. So who knows? You might see your game show up one day. And I did receive my copy of Survivor DVD Blast from eBay only a few days ago. I need to figure out how to play this and possibly stream this and film it or something, because it is truly a relic, and I cannot wait to see how jank it is. Much like it'll be the DVD equivalent of moving across the sand with your feet on little blocks that you kick over. So next week, Liana and myself are going to be joined by Peridium to recap episode 5. Special thanks to Scott St. Pierre for editing everything behind the scenes. Will from America for his fantastic theme song. Gabby, thank you so much for coming on. Liana, fantastic work as per usual. Until next week, we'll check you out at your next stay.